Disney returning to its conservative roots? Literally, what? I'm not sure about that. Well, Disney's big savior was supposed to be this film called Wish, which comes out this upcoming week on the heels of a financial disaster in that Marvel's setting an all-time record for worst performing Disney movie or, well, Marvel movie in history. Wish was supposed to be another big blockbuster film, except one thing. The critics absolutely hate it. It's another massive flop and another huge L for woke Disney. And even this time, it appears that they were trying to pander back to the original fandom. I'm not exactly sure how this narrative of conservative roots come from or really gets played out, but it's going to be interesting to watch. So, Disney returns to, quote, conservative roots with Wish. Speaking of apolitical things, just to let you know, the coffee brand coffee.com Black Friday sale is active right now. 20% off site-wide, 10% off all of our gift boxes, and 60% off the first month of our monthly coffee club, Roaster's Choice. Discount shows up in the checkout, no promo code. Get after it, stock up, get your Christmas gifts handled with the gift boxes, and we've got your back. At one time, Disney was atop of the food chain in the animation industry, taking home Oscar Gold year after year and inspiring generations of fans with their magical masterpieces. However, recent films from the House of the Mouse have left much to be desired, and a large portion of the studio's enormous fan base has abandoned ship. It's not that Disney has completely dropped the ball, but many would agree that they have been trying to appease the wrong audience. The phrase, go woke, go broke, is one that's tossed around quite frequently on the subject, but the studio might be preparing to take a more conservative approach with its newest project. 2022 was not a great year for Disney, especially for Walt Disney Animation. The Strange World becoming Disney's biggest flop since The Black Cauldron. The future of Walt Disney's pictures have been in the hands of an angry audience. Many fans are of the mindset that Disney's attempt to appease the woke portions of their customers have turned them away. Whether this was Disney's intention or not is irrelevant, but this film concerning the sci-fi escapades of the Clade family was undeniably the wrong direction for the studio to take. However, Wish could be rectifying the sins of the past. For those already rolling their eyes at the idea, so we have a beautiful, watch the trailer above and tell us if any of this looks or sounds familiar. We have a beautiful female hero with a talking animal sidekick, discovering a strange magical power entity and preparing to go up against an over-the-top and elaborately dressed villain. How many classic Disney films fit that description? For those out there already rolling their eyes at the idea, Disney isn't using their old formula without a reason. In the minds of many audience members, the studio has strayed away from what made them so beloved at once upon a time long ago. By revisiting and refining those traditional elements, Disney might be pulling themselves from the jaws of perdition. I don't think so. I actually don't think so at all. It's logical to assume that this is a very conservative approach to a contemporary Disney movie, especially since it seems Disney is returning to the traditional narrative. However, this isn't the first time the studio's century-long career that they've had to get back to the fairy tale formula. Walt Disney, began its animation empire with films like Snow White and Pinocchio, but rode the successes of those films to experiment with both animation and storytelling. That's how we got movies like Fantasia, Melody Time, and Song of the South. While those films were part of Disney's legacy, they weren't as iconic or successful as the original. So essentially, Disney's going back to what made them good. And the critics hate it. Now, I'm not going to say, hey, go support this movie, because it's still Disney after all. You see this. Wish review. Disney's throwback animation is missing on magic. A decade ago, at a time when both Disney and Pixar's animation output was not exactly unsuccessful, but entirely unmemorable, Frozen became a sticky $1.2 billion game changer, a box office hit that turned into an all-consuming phenomenon. It won Oscars, produced earworms that burrowed a little too deep, spawned a $1.5 billion sequel, led to a Broadway musical that showed Disney how to dust off the contemporary critiqued princess narrative rather than just throw it away completely. Opening the same Thanksgiving time slot 10 years later, the script co-written by Frozen's Jennifer Lee Wish is a bullishly positioned successor, another self-aware, formula-tweaking Disney princess narrative with many radio-friendly power ballads, as are the Christmas-timed merchandising opportunities. But Wish feels less like Disney's new Frozen and more like an off-brand ripoff, aesthetically inferior, hampered by mostly unimpressive, underpowered plot, most deadingly lacking in magic. As grotesque as Disney might still be one of the most effective illustrative go-tos for the horrors of mass-market capitalism, it's impossible to not feel the swell of wonder when the studio logo kicks in. This is from The Guardian, which gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. You see here, Wish is cute for a feature-length Disney advertisement. I mean, they are celebrating their 100 years. If we go to the Rotten Tomato scores, it's 54%. And if we look at top critics, that's generally even lower, to be honest with you. Let's see, 54 top critics, 38%. 38%. Absolutely getting just crushed. Wish plays out like a no-frills version of a Disney princess story. And it's still rotten. I wonder if this film's going to do really well with families. I don't know. I can't say that, for 100% fact certain, but I wonder if their critics are melting down because it's not woke. Disney's Wish is the most aggressive piece of Disney propaganda in years. Disney Animation's 60-second film tries to remember the magic of the past. The result is one of the worst animated Disney films in years. What's so painful about this film is the overcomplicated ambition combined with the overstated villainy of the character who isn't hiding his evil, but sadly turns evil and then is turned into an absolute monster, which makes Jafar look subtle. Wish tries to split the difference between classic and modern and fails on both fronts. It's totally forgettable entry from Disney and a real missed up. I mean, this is just absolutely savage. More important than the gender divide here is the fact that good storytelling recognizes that there can be different kinds of antagonists besides just the evil because he is evil villain. It's awfully interesting that these people seem to be turning against Disney. The people that, it's so funny. These critics forced Disney into all these woke productions and all this indoctrination because they would give them good reviews. And now the second they try to not do that, they're absolutely crushing it. Wish's visually appealing celebration of Disney's 100th anniversary mostly lacks inventiveness and gravitas, but features some memorable music. As a Disney animated film, Wish is more forgettable than iconic. Even with talented cast, the movie's plot, characters, and songs are generic and derivative. Its references to other Disney movies looks more like shameless shilling than fond reminiscing. I get this weird feeling that kids are going to love this movie. I just wonder because people absolutely love member berries. I mean, that's undeniable. The member berries are real. People absolutely love them. There's a reason they work. I mean, when you look at, even the positive reviews aren't that great. There's some kind of generic one. Disney's Wish acts as both an homage to the company and a new original story through its success of the latter, though the success of the latter isn't quite as strong as the former. I mean, this is just another string of, terrible movies. Now, I still suspect that this movie will do pretty well in the theaters. I don't think that parents really, rush to Rotten Tomatoes to see, rush to Rotten Tomatoes to see what the critics gave their kids' movie that they pay $15 so that they get 2 hours of damn quiet, or whatever the case is that parents, whatever the case may be. It's interesting to me that this is yet another Disney disaster on the heels of the Marvels, which is a disaster. And it's only going to compete. I guess the Marvels doesn't necessarily share an audience with Wish probably, but they're competing with them directly this coming up weekend, which will be the third weekend for the Marvels. I don't know. I'm not ready to like shill for literally anything Disney. I'm not really feeling the run out and give everyone, give Disney your money again because they have a return to their roots. But I do think that this may be a response to all the backlash to their woke stuff. For me, I got to see 4, 5, 6 films in a row, an actual commitment, not just a pander job, not just ignoring the pander stone for one movie. So we'll have to wait and see. But yikes, more bad news for Disney. Don't forget the Coffee Brand Coffee Black Friday sale this week, coffeebrandcoffee.com. Love to earn your business. Never been a better time to give us a try. We'll talk to you again real soon.